Hey everyone, this is my third and final lesson on direct to indirect speech. In case you have not watched the previous videos, please do that first, or it will not be easy to understand this one. Shall we begin? This is the third lesson. I'm going to start by revising what we have done in the previous two lessons. Okay? So let's revise that. Let's see if you remember. On the first day, we did the very basics of the changes from direct to indirect speech. The basic changes were you leave out the comma and the speech marks when you're writing, add the word that, change the pronoun, and change the verb. Then on the next day, in the next video, you did a slightly more advanced lesson which said that if there was one person speaking, you use the word said. If there were two people speaking, you use the word told. One told the other. And if there is a question, then you use the word asked. And if it is a question that you are changing from direct to indirect speech, I told you that there was something very important for you to remember. That was the interchanging of the verb and the pronoun, which has to happen, right? So let's just revise all that quickly. Stephen said, I am going to the park. How does that change to indirect speech? Stephen said that he was going to the park. So what happened here? We have removed the comma, we've removed the speech marks, we've added that, we have changed the pronoun, and we have changed the verb to the past tense. Let's do the next one. Jeff said, I cannot hear the lyrics of the song. How does that change? Jeff said that he could not hear the lyrics of the song. So again, you've added that, you've changed the pronoun, you've changed cannot to could not, which is the past tense. Now suppose one person is talking to another. Ria said, Jane, I am hungry. How do you change that? Ria told Jane that she was hungry. So just like you did in the first part, where only one person is speaking, you leave out the comma, you leave out the speech marks. Okay, and the rest of the changes stay the same. Ria told Jane that she was hungry. Rolf said, Brett, I have an appointment with the doctor. How do you write this? Rolf said or Rolf told? Rolf told Brett that he had an appointment with the doctor. You added that, changed the pronoun from I to he, changed the verb to the past tense. Have becomes had. Now the third thing, when it is a question like this, Blake said to Maria, will you have dinner with me? How do you change that? You don't use said, you don't use told, sorry. You use asked. Blake asked Maria if. We don't use that, we use if. She would. This interchanging here, not would she, but she would. If she would have dinner with him, we change that pronoun as well. Okay, next one. Judy said to her mother, can I spend the night with my friend? How do you change that? Judy asked her mother if she, there, and can becomes could. So if she could spend the night with her friend, my becomes her. Now the next part, the new thing for today. Things to remember while changing from direct to indirect speech. One, you know very well by now, remove the commas and the speech marks. Two, change the tense of the reporting verb. It has to change to past tense. Third, change the pronoun if required. Most of the time you do need to change it. Fourth, always make changes in the expressions of time and place. This is the new part that you have to learn today. What do we mean by expressions of time and place? Time, like when something happened, and place, where it happened. I'll give you examples. Here are some examples. He said, I will meet you this evening. Now, when you are giving this in indirect speech, you cannot say this evening again. This evening changes to that evening. So I would write it like this. He said that he would meet me that evening. Look at this one. He said, I will buy the necklace today. When you write it in reported speech, you cannot use the word today. Today changes to that day. So it would be, he said that he would buy the necklace that day. All other changes stay the same if you have noticed. That is added here, the pronoun changes, the verb changes to the past tense. Everything else happens the way I told you right from the beginning. It's only these changes that are taking place in the expressions of time and place. Okay, let's go to the third one. He said, it rains heavily these days. These days changes to those days. He said that it rained heavily those days. So you have to remember these changes, and if it is hard for you to remember these changes, just learn them by heart. This evening becomes that evening. Today becomes that day. These days becomes those days. A few more. She said, now instead of he, let's use she. She said, I will make the sandwiches now. Now changes to then. She said that she would make the sandwiches then. Okay? She said, my parents visited me last week. Last week changes to the previous week or the week before. She said that her parents visited her the previous week. She said, I had an examination last month. Last month changes to the previous month or the month before. She said that she had an examination the previous month. So what are the changes here? Now changes to then, last week changes to the previous week, last month changes to the previous month. Now instead of he or she, we'll use they. They said, we will join a gymnasium next week. Next week must change to the following week. Okay? They said that they would join a gymnasium the following week. They said, we need to visit our uncle tomorrow. Tomorrow changes to the following day. They said that they needed to visit their uncle the following day. Should we go through these changes one more time? Starting from here. This evening becomes that evening. Today becomes that day. These days becomes those days. Now changes to then. Last week changes to the previous week. Last month changes, last month changes to the previous month. Next week changes to the following week. Tomorrow changes to the following day. Okay, so with that, I've come to the end of today's lesson. I hope I have made the topic easier through my videos, and all three lessons have been easy to understand. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me in the comments below. And also, if there is any specific topic that you would like me to cover in my videos, do let me know. Until next time, cheerio. Keep smiling, keep well. I'll see you soon.